All right. Good to see you all. Right. I am going live on multiple channels. So just bear with me while I connect to Instagram as well. That should be going live now. Perfect. All right. We're live on all the channels. Hello, everybody. Okay. So today, without any warning whatsoever, I'm cropping up to deliver what is part 2 of a 5-part, I'm calling it just a mini training. It's an informal, me coming online to talk about confidence generally, but very specifically to share with you the 5 building blocks of confidence. So you will hear me talk about, if you're someone who follows me, how confidence is built. It's not something that only the entitled few get to have, or it's not only for people who are like, you look at and you think, gosh, they were born confident. Confidence is something that you can build. And if you are someone who has struggled with self-doubt, if you know you have imposter syndrome, if you have feelings, questions about whether you deserve to be where you are, if you think that your success is down to luck, or even if none of that is true, but the way you feel, it's like, even though you know you're not an imposter, the environment you work in makes you feel that way. And where I see this coming up and see it typically is in an environment where you are circumstantially the only one. I work with Black lawyers. I help Black lawyers to have the confidence to progress and to keep progressing in the industry all the way to the top. And this is what I see all the time. Your awareness that you are the only one, is self-conscious of that, and how you're treated as a result of that, whether it's because they don't include you, or because just looking around, not seeing anybody or many people who look like you. Certainly when you look up and you're looking for role models, sometimes it's because there are literally like microaggressions and racism that you're subjected to. All of that can make you feel like an imposter, even when you know you're not one, even when you know how hard you worked to get here. So that's why I talk about building confidence. And it's building confidence in who you are. Now, I'm very specific about the type of confidence that you want to build if you are going to overcome imposter syndrome and really start showing up to your potential. Because that's what we want, isn't it? Right now, with all of those thoughts and feelings that you have about belonging or not belonging, right now, the way you're showing up, the way you are being in the workplace and with your work, your approach to it, that is holding you back. If you are overworking, making everything really perfect, like constantly excessively checking everything, if you are overthinking, someone who second guesses all the time, and let me know as I go through this, I'm just going to make sure I can see the comments. Let me know which of these resonate with you. If you're someone who's constantly in your own head and you are second guessing, you're constantly worried that you'll be asked a question that you don't know the answer to. You constantly have that thought, I don't know enough, or I'm not experienced enough. This is all going on. If this is all going on for you, you are not showing up to your potential. How could you possibly, when so much of your bandwidth is just being used up energetically with you, like dealing with those feelings of not enoughness? That's what I call it. And it also keeps you playing small. It means you're hiding your talent. People aren't seeing you. You're working really hard, yes, behind the scenes, your head down, but people don't know quite how valuable you are unless you're able to show it. And when you have these feelings of not belonging, of imposter syndrome, whether it's environmental, which is how I describe imposter syndrome that comes from being the only one, or internal, and it just comes from how you feel in a certain environment, this is not serving you. It will hold you back. How could you possibly fulfill your potential when that's how you feel? So in this sort of short live, what I'm going to do is I'm focusing on step 2 then of the confidence building process. This is a process that I teach Black lawyers in my new online program, Confident Black Lawyers. So we're speaking specifically to step 2, which is building confidence in where you are. Think of confidence, to put this into context, as a series of building blocks. That's why we talk about building. There are 5 building blocks, which equate to the 5 steps. Building block number 1, which I spoke about on Monday, is building confidence in your name. Building block number 2 is building confidence in where you are. What do I mean by that? I mean literally being aware of the position you have the role you have, the title you have, where you work, being aware of, yes, your achievements, your successes, whatever it is that, let's say you would put it in a LinkedIn profile or on your CV, all of those things that are factually true about where you are and what you have achieved. It's having confidence, building confidence in those. Now, here's how you know that you don't have confidence in where you are. You are someone who is at a certain level. Let's say you are a senior associate in a law firm, but actually the way you think about yourself and feel most of the time is exactly how you felt when you were a junior associate years ago. Or you have a certain position in your organization, but you still think about yourself as like in the early days. I've even spoken to junior lawyers or trainees who still think about themselves as students. So ask yourself this question. Thank you. I'm glad you like my accent. Thank you for that comment. Ask yourself this question. How do I think about myself? Like if I look at my title, look at my role, like what do I think? Do I like identify with that role, or do I still consider myself to be like a trainee? And you'll know this is true when you get asked a question and your first thought is, oh my gosh, I just don't know enough. So what we want to do is build confidence in where you are, confidence in your title, confidence in your role. It means confidence that when you are asked to something that somebody in that role would be asked to do, it doesn't send you into a flap or into a panic. Okay, so this is what we want to achieve. And what I'm going to share with you is just 3 tips, 3 of the recommendations that I want you to go away. And you can literally, after this session, you can go away and start doing it right now. That's going to start to build this confidence in where you are. So the confidence in your role, the confidence in your status, for example. Okay. So are you ready? 3 tips. Number 1. Because what we want to do is internalize your success. Okay. So number 1 is I want you to think and ask yourself about your attitude to your achievements or to a success. Are you someone who is success intolerant? So the first step is to reflect on whether you are success intolerant. In other words, whether you have a tendency to undermine or downplay every achievement that you have or every success that you've achieved along the way. Are you someone, for example, who when you're given some feedback, you ignore all of the positive feedback and you focus only on the one negative one? Are you someone who, for example, when you're given a compliment, you say, oh, that was nothing, and oh, it's not really like that, and that's not really anything to compliment me by, that's not a big deal? Are you someone who, when you're given a compliment for a job you did or a particular role you played in a transaction, let's say, and what you immediately do is deflect it? You say, oh, well, it was the whole team. It was a team effort. So these are clues, examples that you are success intolerant. And I want you to hold in your mind that concept of success intolerance and really start to be aware of when you're doing that. That's literally the first recommendation, because the more aware you are of your intolerance to the success that you achieve, the more you will start to notice all of those successes. It kind of is a bit of a weird one. It kind of works like through the back door. You being aware of the fact when you're discounting your success makes you realize, oh, there's a success there to be discounted. Okay. All right, that's number 1. So really watch out for your success intolerance. I want you to catch it. Okay, step number 2, and I want to recommend you start this today if you've never done it. Start a success catalog. That's what I call any book or file that you have on your computer or your device that just contains a record of every single one of your achievements and successes. And when I say achievements and successes, I want you to really go back as far as you can remember. Like if you remember getting full marks in a test at school, I want you to write that down. All of this counts. All of this is so important. One of the reasons why you don't have confidence in where you are right now, the level you are at, or the role that you're doing right now, is because you haven't internalized the successes, all those milestones that you have hit all the way to get here. You haven't internalized them. You've just achieved something and then you've moved on quickly to the next thing, or you've been success intolerant and not really seen it for the success it was. So the second recommendation I want to make is that you start a success catalog today. And you can just be adding to it every single day. When something happens that is a win for you, is a success, write it down. When you remember something that happened a year ago, 10 years ago, write it down. The key, the goal is to have it all in one place. All in one place where if we met, I could literally say to you, oh, what's on your success catalog? Tell me about your successes. And you could literally open it up and just tell me a whole list of things. There'll be pages and pages long. And I say it will be pages and pages long is because I know you have so many achievements and successes, which is why you're here, which is why you're listening to this. If you are listening to this, looking for more confidence, and you know that like imposter syndrome and self-doubt is something that comes up for you, I know there are a whole load of success and achievements that you have been neglecting and overlooking. So I want you to go looking for them, and I want you to record them, get them down on paper. And what you're going to notice is over time, you're really going to start to feel connected to the version of you that achieved each one of those successes. That is going to symbolize all those different stages of your growth, of your capability. It's going to be like physical evidence of everything that you've done. That's what we want to build, and it's ongoing. So that was tip or recommendation number 2, start your success catalog today. If you have one of those, let me know in the comments if you already have something similar. So yeah, one of you have said, success catalog, do I mean a vision board type of thing? No, I don't mean a vision board. It doesn't have to be something that you make really visual, although I don't see why not. Like if you're a very visual person and you want to come up with lots of imagery and things to create this catalog, then that would be amazing. I think the key difference for me between a vision board and your success catalog is your vision board is looking ahead to what you want. It's like your vision for what you want in the future, okay? Whereas what I want you to do is capture everything that you have done and achieved up until this point, okay? That's the main difference. But you're very welcome to make that as visual as you like. But the key is looking back at your successes. It's a catalog of all of the, I like to think of them as like milestones or stepping stones that have got you to where you are, so that you have, I guess another way of looking at it is like it becomes this sort of paper trail to where you are now. So if you think back to what I said at the beginning, where one of the things you struggle with is being confident in the role you currently have, it's partly because you're showing up to your work, you're showing up to your day as if you just landed here, at this level that you're at from like another planet, or landed out of nowhere. Because you're not connected to the journey and those stepping stones that you have followed to where you are. So that's what the success catalog does. It looks back and it like tracks your progress, tracks your success. Okay, that was number 2. So my recommendation number 3 is I want you to start cultivating this habit. And this is one of the things I teach you to do in great depth in Confident Black Lawyers, is it teaches you the habit of celebrating your wins. Sounds very similar to the excuse me, success catalog, but actually this is forward looking. So what we want is to develop the skill of recording every single win, okay? Recording it, yes, you can add it to your success catalog, but recording your wins so that never again do you get to the point where you reach a certain level or you reach a certain goal and you don't know how you got there. Celebrating your wins creates a track record for everything you do from now on. 2 points to note about celebrating your wins. Number 1 is that I use the word win deliberately. There is no such thing as a win that is too small. So I want to recommend that every single thing that feels like a win, that just feels like, oh my gosh, like I did it. I didn't want to do that, but I did it. Like that would be a win. I didn't feel like showing up to work today, but I did it. I didn't feel like going into the office today, but I did it. I found this really hard, but I did it. All of those are wins. I want you to get that granular about what you're doing day to day. And to help my clients within Confident Black Lawyers and in my Be the First program, we do this a lot to help you develop the muscle of celebrating your wins, really looking for them and finding them, what I do is I encourage you to find 3 wins every single day. Now, this will seem like a lot at first, and you'll be like, I don't have 3 wins today. But literally setting yourself the challenge of finding those wins is going to build the muscle of being able to identify them really easily every single day. So to celebrate them, then what we're doing is we're acknowledging them as a win. And then I want you to ask yourself the question, what does this say about me now? Like, who am I now on the back of this win? I'm going to give you an example of that. If you have a win that is, let's say, the simple example of you don't feel like going into the office and showing your face, but you decide to go in anyway, that would be a win. And then what you want to do is internalize that win. In other words, properly like write down next to the win, I am someone, like I know how to, or I show up to work, or I go into the office even when I don't feel like it. I'm someone who is able to do that. And what that does ever so cleverly, ever so subtly, is every time you have a win, it kind of banks it. It takes the credit of that win and it internalizes it so that you then start to identify as a person that has a win like that all the time, or winning like that is just part of who you are. There's a great example that actually my client shared even this morning. One of my clients in Be the First, my other progression program for Black lawyers. And so she was talking about having leveraged her network and being able to like use that to solve a problem. And so she celebrated that as a win. And I said, what does that mean? Who are you now? And so part of her work is always to say, I'm a person, I'm so good at building relationships that I can leverage my network to solve a problem. Like that now, her being able to see that, turn a win into an identity statement, right? That's her raising her self-concept, how she thinks about herself, right? Raising it to the level of what she's just achieved. So that's my third and final recommendation to you to help you build confidence in where you are, confidence in your role, in your title, in the success that you have achieved to date. So to recap, number 1, watch out for success intolerance. Number 2 is start your success catalog. If you don't have one already, one place where you have a long list of all of your achievements and successes today, start one today. And then number 3 is to celebrate your wins and really internalize the success of those. All right, so those are my 3 recommendations. This is just a glimpse of what I teach you when you join Confident Black Lawyers. So if you are a Black lawyer and whatever level or stage of your career you are at, this program is designed to help you build confidence in who you are so that you can overcome imposter syndrome, all those behaviors that are holding you back in your career, the overworking, the overthinking, the hiding your talent, playing small. In Confident Black Lawyers, we build confidence in who you are. And it's the most authentic form of confidence you have. We don't fake anything because it all comes from who you are. That's what we focus on. And as you've heard today in step 2, right, building confidence in where you are, in your role, in your title, all of that, we focus on you. We don't focus on anything outside of you. It is literally about you remembering how capable you are. And so my job, and in this program that I've organized and created for you, is to walk you step by step through a process where you remember that, you internalize and feel that confidence, and it means that you can then show up every single day in your work to your fullest potential. All right, if you have any questions, please share. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you very much for all of your comments. If you're watching this on the replay, add your comments. Anything about imposter syndrome or confidence, I'll be happy to answer. And remember, if you are a Black lawyer and confidence is something you struggle with, if you've been battling with imposter syndrome, whether environmental or internal, you've got to join Confident Black Lawyers. I highly recommend it. This program is honestly going to change how you think about yourself, how you show up, and particularly it's going to support you to succeed as a Black lawyer in a white world. I'll be back tomorrow with confidence building brick number 3. That's step number 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back soon.